Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and if you're new here, I'm Max Torres with Scoop Duck. Consider giving me a follow on Twitter. I talk about duck-related content, particularly Ducks football and Ducks football recruiting. And if you're new to the channel, consider giving us a like and subscribe. Today, I want to talk about one of the newest additions to the Oregon 2021 football recruiting class. I want to talk about four-star defensive lineman Keanu Williams from Clovis, California. He committed to the Ducks a little while ago, and this was a big win for Oregon as they beat out a trio of Pac-12 competitors, namely in Stanford, UCLA, and USC. So this is a really big addition, and it's an awesome player that you want to have in this 2021 class. If we take a quick look at the 247 Sports player profile for Williams, he comes in rated a 4-star, like I was saying, at .8958. Rated the number 312th player in the country, the number 20 strong side defensive end, and the number 31 prospect in California. So this is a great pickup because it allows Oregon to keep their roots in California strong. That Cali Flock movement that we really saw when Cristobal took over, Mace Funa, Keon Ware-Hudson, players like that hopping on board. So huge get for the Ducks here. He joins Tilmon along the defensive front for the Ducks. And in the time since his commitment, the Ducks have also added Christian Burkhalter from Spanish for Alabama. I was able to catch up with Williams in a Zoom chat to kind of break down his commitment and see what the future holds for him, talk about the new rules regarding the postponement of the high school football season. Jonathan Charles has a written piece on our site. I'll make sure to throw that in the description. And we also have a in-depth breakdown of what the Ducks are getting with this player. So with that being said, let's hop into the interview, and I'll see you guys after the video. All right, now I want to welcome in the newest Oregon Ducks commit, Keanu Williams, defensive lineman out of Fresno, California. Keanu, how are we doing today? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great. It's awesome to talk to you as always, man.
All right, right on. Well, first, right off the bat, the biggest question I want to ask you is, why did you end up committing to Oregon? What set them apart from other schools?
To be honest with you, it was the relationships I had with the coaches, the success that I can have on and off the field going to the University of Oregon. Also, too, is that this is the best fit that I thought was for me and my mom. So I think that Oregon is the best place for me.
Okay, yeah, you talked about the fit with your mom. How did she kind of what was the conversation like when you were talking to her? I know she was in your commitment video. She revealed the duck swag. I know you got the hat on. What was her kind of involvement in the process?
Oh, it was huge because she was really my backbone and my support for it, and she supported whatever decision that I chose for the school. And once I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to go to Oregon," she was like, "All right, let's go and let's do it." And we're gonna just shift all of our attention to Oregon, and we're gonna just give them our all. So that's what we expect. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Giving them your all. I'm sure that's music to the staff's ears hearing that from you. Speaking of the staff, how did you go about sharing that news with them? I know a lot of people try to do it when they're on a visit, but some people, obviously we're not allowed to do that right now. So how did it go down with you?
So with me, I didn't tell any of the coaches. I didn't tell nobody, and I was getting text messages all day, left and right, from all four of the schools I was going to. And then the Oregon coach was like, "Hey, are we still in the running? What is this?" I said, "You guys are going to find out at this time." And once I said, "Hey, I'm committed to go to the University of Oregon," they were just super excited, blowing my phone up, calling. It was a great thing. And then the next day I got on a Zoom call with them, and it was great. I know I made the right choice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's got to be a hectic environment. With Oregon texting you and all your other finalists texting you, all of which were other than Oregon, California schools. What was that kind of communication like with the other schools? Because it's got to be hard to tell them no, since you can only choose one school in the end.
Pretty much the communication was pretty much the same. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks it's with this school or that school, but it was all around contact. It was great, and it was just hard to choose. So they were all up for grabs, and I just felt like Oregon was the right route for me. So that's the decision I ended up making.
All right, right on. I know when it comes to Oregon, oftentimes when I talk to recruits, it's not just any one coach that is in contact with you. So what when it comes to you, who would you say you were closest with on the staff, and what was your guys' relationship like?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to start with obviously because Coach Cristobal was involved heavily, with the recruiting and everything. So he was a real person that I thought was, great coach, a great leader, and a great man with his family. And that's just somebody that I thought was a role model in a sense for a team to, compete and play. Second was Coach Joe, D-line coach. He basically was like development, family guy too on top of that. And he's just very dedicated and committed. And that's the type of person that I have in my own personality that I found that like to mix with and blend with really well. And then the other one was Don Johnson, like high school relations and stuff. Him and I pretty much play 2K all the time. We just talk about whatever. And same for Coach Kyrie Marshall. I think he's a D-line assistant. I think something like that. And him too. We just play games, talk about football, whatever. So it's mainly those four people that I got main consistent contact from all the time.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I've talked to other recruits that have talked about, playing video games with the Oregon coaches. How exactly does that work? I mean, is it as casual as like, hey, you online right now? Like, let's hoop. Like, what
All
was
the
that?
time.
What was that like?
Yeah. So I'll go, Don will hit me up. He go, hey, let's get on 2K. I said, okay. And then we hop on 2K. We'll play for like an hour or two. We'll play. Or I'll text him, hey, let's go run Madden. I'll text him and Coach Kyrie. I'll text them both the same thing, and we'll just get on the game and play all the time.
That's super cool. I haven't
Mhm.
heard of any other schools doing that. I mean, there might be some out there that are doing that, but that's super unique. And just on that note, you had a bunch of schools coming after you. How would you say Oregon's approach on the recruiting trail with your particular situation maybe differed from how other schools were recruiting you?
So pretty much with Oregon, they told me straight up, they go, are we in the running? And I said, yes. And they go, what is it that would be the biggest thing for you to come to school here and develop as a young man? I said, for me, obviously the academics would be a part. So they showed me everything with that. And then also two relationships, I think would be the biggest difference for all four of the schools that I had for Oregon, that they made a big deal. And that was a big deal to me, was making a relationship. And that ever since from the first day I talked to them and they asked me those questions to now, it hasn't changed. It's only gotten better. So I think that would be the biggest separation from all four schools and for me going to Oregon.
All right. Yeah. Relationships are always a big part of the recruiting process, as we all know. You talked about, getting put in the best position to succeed both on and off the field with the academics. And then I want to look a little bit more about on-field success and kind of their plan for you there. We got Jordan Scott, big body kind of guy. I'd say you're much taller than him, but, similar kind of fits, it seems like. What's the staff telling you as far as how they plan to use you, and how does that line up with kind of what you're envisioning?
So pretty much the last time I had that type of conversation with them, they're pretty much going to say all over the D line, mainly interior, nothing really outside D N, none of the edge rushing type stuff mainly. But I'm going to be more of an interior defensive lineman and a versatile guy. And they're going to use me all over in all types of schemes that they're going to end up having on the D line. So I'm going to be playing all over.
Okay, so kind of like a little bit of a Swiss Army knife. I think that lines up pretty well with defensive coordinator Andy Avalos. I know he likes to switch things up all the time, do a bunch of different looks. And then now when we're looking at off the field, academics played a big role in your decision, as you just told me. What's your plan looking like there? Any majors in mind or career interests?
Yeah, I have some. I want to go into science. I want to go the science route, kind of some with, accounting, but then have some mix that in with some sort of science. I'm not sure what the names are called yet. That's pretty much when I go to college, I'll figure that all out. But those are my base ideas of what I kind of want to go into for my career outside of football.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. The Jaqua Center. That I think that's how you say it, Jaqua Center. I walked by it the other day since I'm actually in Eugene now,
Okay.
which is cool. I had my first class today, so they got that for the student athletes, which is crazy facilities and all the supports there. So that's great to know that you have that there for you.
Mhm.
And I kind of want to look now at you're joining a crazy recruiting class, top 10 in the country. I want to get some of your thoughts on the talent that you're going to be playing with, and maybe some of the relationships that you've been able to build so far with those other Duck commits.
man, it's wild. We've already started getting on Madden. We're already talking about, future already, what we're going to be on when we get to campus. We're already in a group chat with all the commits right now. So we've been talking, and we're going on, and just we're pretty much bonding. And the good thing is that I've been a couple camps with some of these guys in some games when we were younger. So it's kind of like, oh, hey, I remember you type deal. And we're coming for it all, and we're about to win the national title. That's what we talk about all the time.
All right, yeah, coming for that natty. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of guys. So it's good that you already have that relationship, like you mentioned, having that camp experience with guys. And I mean, I'm sure but you're playing with these guys. You're joining an elite class that has a lot of players, but with that is going to come competition. How did that kind of factor into your decision when you take a look at what Oregon's building versus some of the other schools that are bringing in some great players as well?
Yeah, so I want to be, first of all, I wanted to be part of something that's building, not something that's established. And I think with us, as this recruiting classes, we're going to really establish a winning tradition that's going to go on at Oregon. And I feel like we're not afraid of competition, and neither am I as a person. So we're welcoming it all smoke, everything. We want it all. So that's our mindset.
Right on. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are already pretty cohesive as a unit, which is awesome to hear, especially with social media and everything that we have. Video games. That's the way you can stay in touch with people.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that the class isn't done. There's still some room to grow and to add some people. Are you guys kind of scheming up on any names that you'd like to join and strengthen that Oregon class?
Yeah, we got about, maybe I say three guys we all been talking about. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. But we got about three good guys, maybe that are gonna be Ducks.
Okay, right on. Yeah, no, I wasn't never necessarily expecting a name, but I had to ask. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, no, there we go. It came back to me. So since you are going from recruit to recruiter, essentially, say I'm Korey Foreman or JT, some of those big names, and you're talking to me, what's your pitch to come join the Ducks?
Come be great. Come be a part of something special, and come be great of a great staff, great people all around you. Just like that. That's pretty much all it is. You either want to be great or not, So if you want to come be great, come with us. Come flock with us.
Right on. Yeah, that's simple as that. They got some great options too, so I'm sure we'll be following that pretty closely.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of people, a lot of the Duck commits rather that I talked to, some of them grew up Oregon fans, regardless of where they were from. They remember watching DeAnthony Thomas or Marcus Mariota. Kind of, what's your story with Oregon? And you grew up in in Fresno. So what's your Oregon connection?
So it's funny you say that. So when I was 8 when they played Auburn in the national title game. That year they played that. It was heartbreaking. It was hard. It was rough. I know it's fighting words right there, but that right there was my first memory of Oregon. And I was like, you know what? Kind of taking interest in them. I mean, like, okay, it's Oregon. First thing, as an 8-year-old kid, is the uniforms. So I was like, wow, the uniforms are going crazy. And then on top of that, I was like, hey, these dudes can really play some football. I mean, they're competing in playoffs. They're going into championship games and Rose Bowls, all this stuff, and winning it. So I was like, you know what? That'd be awesome if I can go and play for Oregon one day. And then kind of went on and on about, going here, going there, and kind of lost my train of thought of Oregon. And I was like, you know what? I remember Oregon. I said, I want to try to go and be a part of this again. So I'm like, you know what? Why not make that move? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with Oregon. And on top of that, added to the memories from when I was younger.
Very cool. Very cool. Oddly enough, I have a similar, preliminary relationship with Oregon. I went to my first game at Autzen Stadium in the 4th grade where we played Cal, and we lost to Cal in the last minutes of the game after we fumbled it out of the end zone. So we kind of both got similar situation. I, fell in love with the atmosphere, the uniforms, all that jazz. So that's super cool to kind of see that we have a similar story like that. You spoke about the uniforms, and kind of with that is like a lot of the, the glamour that is associated with the Oregon program, the Nike design, the facilities. Have you been able to visit the campus, and how does that maybe factor in, all the glamour that comes with the program?
For me, I haven't been able to visit. I've been doing a ton of virtual visits with the staff and everything like that. And I would say, obviously, it's nice and all to have, uniforms and gloves, cleats, all this extra stuff. But that really didn't play a huge part in me committing to go to school there. It was just how you could play football. You know what I mean? If you can wear what you want, but as long as you're out there competing and winning, it don't really matter what you wear. So that's how I looked at it with them. And I'm like, you know what? They're building a winning program. So that's my main thing, really, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, I love to hear that. Being a fan, I was a little bit biased. It's like, yeah, we got the swag, but
Mm.
everyone like you're saying is just looking for that national championship. So it's nice to know that that it helps, but it's not a deciding factor by any means. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
you got to take, like you mentioned, some virtual tours. It's like you already do research on a school, but when you can't come, you have to do that much more. So with that in mind, when did you actually have your decision made, and when did you feel comfortable, this is what I'm going with?
I would have to say probably like our second or third Zoom that we've had with the entire staff, I would say, was probably about a month, closer to 2 months. I've already known. I just had to get over some other things, for school and all that stuff. So, but that was neither here or there. But that's really when I knew, like, I want to go here. Was probably our second or third Zoom meeting with me and my mom and the coaches.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. So seems like it didn't take, super long for you to kind of ignite that relationship with the staff. That's always cool to get that information.
Mhm.
Speaking about school and, some other things that we're considering right now, I'm sure you saw the news today about, Southern California delaying their high school season. And I kind of wanted to talk to you about that a little bit because I looked up Fresno on the map, and you're kind of right in the middle, it seems like. And I know that NorCal said that they're planning right now to play on. So what's the latest you're hearing right now with your situation?
From our situation, it's pretty much canceled until January or December, whenever the new practice dates are. That's pretty much the date, and that's what I think we're gonna go with. So we're gonna pretty much cancel our season. So it's tough.
Okay. So it's going to be canceled, or it's going to kind of do that late start that you had
I
mentioned?
say it's canceled because it's not our normal season, but it's gonna go on to January, December practicing, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. So it seems like that's you guys are kind of leaning more towards the southern section and what they're adhering to. We're all just adjusting as much as we can.
Mhm.
With that in mind, I know a lot of people have. I've seen some people like Jalen Davies talked about it, and other people are considering skipping that senior season and just enrolling early. I think we talked about the possibility of that last time we spoke, but has that been something that you've considered, just
Oh
going
yeah,
straight to
no,
Oregon?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and enroll early and get up to Oregon as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's some big news right there. Now that you have more or less made that decision, I'm sure you have to finalize some paperwork and all that.
Mhm.
What does that process look like for you? What are some of the next steps that you have to take to make that happen?
I pretty much just have to talk to a couple more things about my counselor, about to really set the schedule up for Oregon and to be qualified academically and for admissions and everything. Uh, but other than that, I mean, I've been kind of preparing to go and enroll early since freshman year. So it's really not difficult for me. I've only got maybe like one or two classes that I really need to take to graduate high school. But then other than that, my process has been pretty smooth lately. So I've been already planning ahead to graduate early. So I'm not scrambling around right now and trying to just jam it all in so I can leave.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely a big process that can intimidate some people. It can kind of be kind of daunting, but now that you have your decision made, how does it feel since going from that start of the recruiting process to now?
It's like it takes like a whole just a peel off of playing football now, and where I can really focus on just working out, eating right, and everything. Like it just like that. Just it's another load off my back. Like it's the best feeling that I know. As soon as I said those words, it's the best.
Very cool. Well, I'm happy you got to make that decision and you found the place that feels right for you. With that in mind, now that you are a commit, do you have any kind of a message to share with the Oregon Duck fan base?
Promise you this: we're going to win, bringing home a national title within the 4 years or 3 years that I'm there. And you guys are going to get the best out of me. And I just want the best out of you guys and the best support possible. And you guys are getting an athlete, a versatile player, and a great person on and off the field. So Let's go and go Ducks.
Right on. We'll keeping our eye close on the field there, Keanu, and we're going to be keeping an eye on what you can do here for the Oregon football program, man. It was great to talk to you again, as always. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to me. Hopefully you're staying cool over there in Fresno as much as you can.
It was like 105 today. It's bad.
God, I think it was like low 90s here in Eugene, and I was dying out here today.
Now I'll take that any day.
Well,
any day.
Yeah, sounds like I'll be thanking my lucky stars tonight that it's not 105. But hey, man, I just want to say thanks again. Great to talk to you, and I'll see you later. Stay well.
Alrighty, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, that will do it for another interview here on the Scoop Duck YouTube channel. Big news from Williams, as we saw in the video where he announced that he's going to be foregoing his senior season, which we're expecting to get in the spring, and instead heading directly to Eugene and enrolling early. We saw Jalen Davies make this announcement as well. It was a blast talking to Keanu, getting to know what went into his decision, get to know him better as a person. Always love doing these interviews, and he's a big addition to the Ducks 2021 class. I also have an interview with Tilmon, who's committed to Oregon. Just haven't gotten around to editing that just yet, so keep an eye out for that one. Also wanted to give a shout out to Jacob Archer. He's behind the camera tonight, making sure I look framed up all right. So big shout out to him. Consider giving us a subscription over on scoopduck.com. We have a lot of awesome written content there. Jacob was our beat writer last year, and he has some awesome position preview articles coming out, so keep an eye out for that. I will throw the social media accounts for the rest of our team in the description. That's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.